Hare Krishna. So, you remember what we saw in the morning? In afternoon? Huh? Definition of Uttama Bhakti we saw. Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavartam Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktiruttama. And we saw what each of those aspects, characteristic meant. We saw the meaning of that. After that, we did the exercise. Do you think your practice is Uttama Bhakti? Most of you said no. And then we saw, okay, which aspect you think is because of which you are telling that it is not Uttama. Most of you said Anya Bilashita Shunyam is not there, we have other desires. And some of you said Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam. Some said Anukulya, Krishna Anushilanam. Continuity is not there, which means there is a bigger question. Not only is it not Uttama Bhakti, there is a threat that maybe it is not Bhakti only. Okay. So then I mentioned that, okay, for now, forget about Anu. Okay. Let's just consider the two secondary characteristics in which the main issue which most of us have is with Anya Vilashita Shunyam. Okay. So we saw the definitions of Sattvic Bhakti, Rajasic Bhakti and Tamasic Bhakti. Okay. And then we asked devotees, do you think your practice fits with any of these definitions? Most of you raised your hands and you said, some people said it's a mixture of Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. Sometimes it's Sattvic, sometimes it's Rajasic, sometimes it's Tamasic. Some devotees said it's Sattvic, some devotees said theirs is Rajasic, like that. But more or less, one of these three definitions seem to fit with most of you. Okay, this is where we ended our discussion. Okay, can we move ahead? Okay, then, but there is a third option. I'll give a third option. Okay, please listen to this definition carefully. And I will take an opinion poll after this again. Okay. There is a classic definition of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti from Srimad Bhagavatam. Jata Shraddho Matkatasu Nirvinna Sarva Karmasu Veda Dukkatmakam Kaman Parityage Api Anishwaraha Tato Bajeta Mam Preetah Shraddalur Dridanischayah Jushamanascha Tan Kaman Dukko Darkamscha Garhayan. Okay. How many of you have heard this verse? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, few devotees have raised. Okay. This is Krishna's teachings to Uddhava in the 11th canto, Uddhava Geet, where he defines what is the nature of a sadhaka, Vaidhi sadhaka, especially in the early stages of his devotional practice. I will read, please hear carefully. Jata Shraddho Matkatasu, such a person has awakened faith in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Nirvinna Sarva Karmasu, he is disgusted with all kinds of material activities, anything that falls within the category of karma, jnana, yoga, etc. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kritakoi. Just by practice of bhakti, everything is accomplished. He has that faith. Veda Dukkatmakam Kaman. He knows that if I engage in sense gratification, it will eventually lead to misery. He knows that. Parityage api anishwaraha. But he is not always able to say no to sense gratification. Sometimes he succumbs. Sometimes he is able to say no. Krishna says, Tato Preetah, my devotee should remain happy. Remain happy means what? Not become overly depressed about his inability to always say no to sense gratification. Mam Bhajeta, and he should continue to worship me. Shraddalur. Yes, he may not be always able to say no to sense gratification, but that does not mean he should lose faith in the path of bhakti only. Don't think that the path of bhakti is not working. Dhrida nischayah. And try to improve your determination. Okay, this time you slipped. Next time, let me try to do it more sincerely, like that. Jushamanascha tan kaman, even though he is sometimes engaged in sense gratification, dukkha udar comes. He knows that this act of sense gratification will eventually lead to misery, garhayan, and he repents for such a mistake. So, I will summarize. Jata Shraddho Matkatasu. Such a person has awakened faith in the process of bhakti. How many of you think you have this? Right? Nirvinna Sarva Karmasu. Other than bhakti, you think other karma, jnana, etc. is not needed. Bhakti is sufficient. How many of you feel? Right? Veda Dukkatmakam Kaman. How many of you understand that sense gratification leads to misery? Parityage api anishwarah. How many of you feel that I am unable to give up sense gratification all the time? Sometimes I succumb. Jushamanascha tan kaman dukko darkamscha garhayan. Unable to give up sense gratification, he sincerely repents for engaging in such acts. How many of you repent after, oh, I should not have done it. Krishna, please forgive me. Like that. Okay. So these are the classic symptoms of Vaidhi Sadhaka. Okay. And Krishna's instruction is Tato bhajeta mam preetah shraddalur dhrida nischaya. Worship me, remain happy, don't feel very depressed. With great faith, do not doubt the process and don't give up your determination. These are instructions. Okay. Now, we will take the opinion poll again. Okay. The first definition that we saw was definition of Uttama Bhakti. The second definition that we saw was definition of mixed devotional service. The third definition that we saw was definition of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. You saw the definitions. Okay. Based on the definition itself, you can tell me between 1, 2 and 3 which definition best suits your practice. Okay. How many of you feel it is 3? How many of you feel it is 1? How many of you feel it is 2? I'm asking about best fit. Okay. So best fit means, I will give an example. If the difference is between purchasing a ready-made shirt and a tailor-made shirt. Okay. Let's say if your size is, let's say 82. Okay. So if you purchase it online, ready-made, you will get either 80 or 85. Okay. You have to choose to wear either 80 if you don't mind wearing little tight, or you have to go for 85 if you don't mind wearing little loose. But if you purchase the cloth and get it stitched from a tailor, he will measure your parameters and he will stitch it accordingly. 82, whatever. Okay. Yes, practically all of you raised your hands for the second definition. Now, when you heard the third definition, which felt like a tailor fit or a tailor-made fit, was it the third or the second? Third, right? Now, but what about mixed devotional service definition? We will get back to it. Okay. There are some things which I purposefully did not highlight or emphasize in that definition. And I knew that you would also not notice it. Okay. I'll go back to the definition. You see here. Abhisandaya. Abhisandaya means with intentions. Intention means goal. How many of you are proud? Pride is one of the anarthas that you have, right? How many of you worship Krishna inspired by pride? I am not talking about worshipping Krishna and having pride. That is one thing. Worshipping Krishna inspired by pride. Anyone? Worshipping Krishna inspired by violence. Krishna, please, today let this devotee slip in the wet, what do you call that? Corridor, and he has been irritating me for a long time. Right? Again, you see here, Abhisandaya. Abhisandaya means goal. There is a difference between desire and goal. Okay. Desire, we will see. Goal means you perform that activity with that in mind. That is goal. How many of you have a desire to become famous? Or you have puja labh pratishtha, those kind of desires? Very less. How many of you do you practice bhakti to become famous? Or you are practicing bhakti at the same time there is a desire to become famous? How would you define your practice? How many of you practice bhakti to become famous? Anyone? How many of you are practicing bhakti while you also have desire to become famous? Right? How many of you practice bhakti and you have desire to become famous, but when you think about it, you are embarrassed? Anyone? Right? Again, karma nirharam uddishya. Uddishya. What is the meaning of uddesh? Purpose, goal. Okay. Good. How many of you like to eat sweets? How many of you is your uddesh of your life to eat sweets? No, right? How many of you want to escape suffering? How many of you, your uddesh for performing bhakti is to escape suffering? The only reason why you perform bhakti is to escape suffering. Is there anyone? No, right? So you see here the word uddishya. Uddishya means uddesh. Uddesh means goal. Yes, we do have a desire to escape suffering, but we don't perform bhakti with the goal of escaping suffering. Right? So that is why you felt the definition of mixed devotional service very similar to your practice. Why? Because you thought having a desire and having a goal to be similar or same. But here it is not talking about a proud person is not necessarily practicing tamasic bhakti. A person who is trying to become famous is not necessarily practicing rajasic bhakti. There is a difference between rajasic bhakti and a bhakta troubled by rajoguna. These are two different things. And how they are different, we are going to see. Okay. Now, why did this definition seem to be a very perfect fit for you? Because it perfectly explains both aspects, your practice of bhakti and your struggles. Correct? So, your struggle you are seeing as a struggle. and it accounts for that. Whereas a mixed devotee does not see it as a struggle. He sees it as a goal. Okay. He wants to perform bhakti to become famous, to become wealthy. While we are practicing bhakti, while simultaneously we have a desire to become wealthy. That you see the difference? There is a difference. It is like someone traveling in a Rajdhani train because he really likes the pantry. Okay. Nice, good pantry. I want to eat. Someone boards a Rajdhani to go from Bangalore to Delhi, but he boards while in Rajdhani. He also wants to, he is attracted by the fragrance that is emanating from the pantry and he wants to try out. There is a difference, right? So that is the difference between a mixed devotee and a sadhaka. Okay. So we saw mixed devotional service. Now the question is, that is okay. I understand sadhana bhakti. But the whole point is sadhana bhakti uttama bhakti or not? This is a question. Okay. Yes, I agree. I am not practicing mixed devotional service. I am practicing sadhana bhakti. Now the question is sadhana bhakti uttama bhakti or not? That question arises. Okay. We have to see. He defines it as uttama bhakti is anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavrutam anukulyana krishna anushilanam. We saw this. And if you see, sadhana uttama bhakti can be cheshta rupa anushilanam and bhava rupa anushilanam. And cheshta means it indicates continuous actions using mind, body and words without any spiritual emotions. And bhava rupa anushilanam means continuous actions using mind, body and words with spiritual emotions. For the moment, keep continuous aside. We will address it little later. Okay. So if you see actions using mind, body and words without any spiritual emotions, Srila Rupa Goswami explains this is sadhana bhakti. And one type of sadhana bhakti is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So Srila Rupa Goswami, after defining uttama bhakti, the Acharya has explained this is the Paribhasha Sutra of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So, Paribhasha Sutra means wherever the term Bhakti comes henceforth in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it refers to Uttama Bhakti. Okay. So, after this he defines Sadhana Bhakti. After defining Uttama Bhakti, he defines Sadhana Bhakti. So, Sadhana Bhakti means what? Sadhana Uttama Bhakti. Sadhana Uttama Bhakti. Kriti Sadhya Bhavet Sadhya Bhavasa Sadhana Bida. Nitya Siddhasya Bhavasya Prakatyam Hridi Sadhyata. This is how he defines Sadhana Uttama Bhakti. Okay. Action of the senses which produce the stage of Bhava. Sa Sadhana Bida is called as Sadhana Bhakti. Okay. So Sadhana Bhakti is also Uttama Bhakti. Then he defines Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Or sometimes it is called as Vaidhi Bhakti. So there Bhakti means Sadhana Uttama Bhakti. Vaidhi Sadhana Uttama Bhakti. Okay. Yatra Raga Anavaptatvat Pravrittir Upajayate. Shasanenaiva Shastrasya Sa Vaidhi Bhakti Ruchyate. When the impetus for Sadhana Bhakti comes from Shastra Vidhi, the rules and regulations of Shastras, that is called as Vaidhi Sadhana Uttama Bhakti. Okay. And when it is coming from Raga, we will see what is Raga later. That is not necessary, right? Okay. So, In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, any bhakti that is discussed is only Uttama Bhakti. There is no discussion of mixed devotional service. Only Uttama Bhakti is described. And he says, Sadhana Bhakti is also Uttama Bhakti, which means Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is also Uttama Bhakti. But then the question arises, how can my Vaidhi Sadhana be pure devotional service if I have so many material desires? How many of you have this question? Right? I am practicing Vaidhi Sadhana just now, we understood, right? Everyone raised your hands, right? That, yes, my definition, my practice fits this definition of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Now, Rupa Goswami says, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is also Uttama Bhakti. But what is Uttama Bhakti? Anya Bilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Ruttama. So then, how is it possible? I have a lot of material desires. How can my Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti be Uttama Bhakti? Right? This is where you have to understand something. This is very important. Please listen to this carefully. Desires are of two types. Okay. Desires which are born out of our value system. Our value system, what is the value system that we have? What is the value system that we have? Huh? What? The, the value system of bhakti. Anukulyasya sankalpo pratikulyasya varjanam. Anything which is anukul for bhakti you accept. Anything that is pratikul for bhakti, which is unfavorable for bhakti, you reject. We accept it, right? This is our value system. Value system means what? And then we have what is called as our conditioning. Okay. Conditioning we have. Okay. Conditioning means swabhava. So now the value system says what is right, what is wrong. Can someone please tell? Okay. This side Prabhujis can tell according to our value system what is right, and Matajis can tell according to our value system what is wrong, what all are recommended. Yes. What is right? Okay, that is a generic statement. Tell whatever is favorable. Wake up for Mangalarti, favorable. Unfavorable? Huh? Not waking up for Mangalarti, correct. That is unfavorable. Following for regulative principles. Now don't say breaking for regulative. Say something else, or maybe elaborate. What is unfavorable? Huh? Prajalpa is unfavorable, right? Okay. Huh? To eating only prasadam. Eating non-prasadam. Huh? Outside food. Yeah. So, huh? Associate with devotees. Not attending Bhagavatam class. Yeah. So you know, right? What is right, what is wrong. This is based on our value system, correct? But the conditioning, it says what we like and what we dislike. Correct? Sometimes they can be opposed, right? Like say, the value system is called as our Shraddha, faith, pure devotion, the devotional faith that we have, based on which you said that waking up for Mangalarti, following for regulative principles, it is correct. And they said not waking up for Mangalarti, not attending Bhagavatam classes, doing Prajalpa, that is unfavorable. So our value system is called as Shraddha, and our conditioning is called as our Swabhava. And many times there could be this happening between these two. Correct? Tug of war. You all know what is tug of war? You know, right? Sometimes this happens. Can some of you please share some common tug of wars? Yes, Prabhu. Getting up early in the morning. Shraddha says I have to get up, or Swabhava says, you can sleep little more, right? I like to sleep. Any other? Chanting in Brahma Muhurta. Shraddha says, no, chanting in Brahma Muhurta is very favorable. Swabhava says, but you are feeling sleepy, right? Yes, what else? Prajalpa, you know, says, all the time we should speak Krishna Katha. Says, it's okay, but it's boring. You can't speak Krishna Katha all the time, right? Like that. So, huh? Ordering sattvic food. We know sattvic food is not prasadam. Okay. Definitely it is not karma free. Okay. It may be, and in fact, it is not even rajogun tamogun free. Okay. It may not have rajogun tamogun ingredients, but the cook can have rajogun and tamogun, right? So we know that it is not good for our spiritual life. But sometimes we are, yeah, but I like the samosa that they make very much, like that. So we do have this kind of, what do you call this? Tug of war between the two, right? The desires which are born out of our Shraddha, that is called as Abhilasha, goal. And the desires which are born out of our Anarthas, of our Swabhava, they are called as Anarthas. Both are desires. Let's do a small, we already did that, what do you call, did that exercise, but okay. Desire to please my spiritual master. How many of you have this desire? Is it Anartha or Abhilasha? Abhilasha, right? Desire for opposite sex. Is it an Anartha or Abhilasha? But can it coexist in the same person? Sometimes, right? Attraction to the opposite sex. Desire to chant quality rounds. How many of you have this desire? Right? Is it Anartha or Abhilasha? What about this? Sometimes you feel like, right? So is it an Anartha or Abhilasha? Okay. So basically, I have taken extreme examples, but there are milder versions also, right, of Anarthas. And so now my question is, can Anarthas and Abhilashas coexist in the same person? Can someone who has the desire to please Krishna and Guru at the same time have inappropriate attraction to the opposite sex, knowing very well that it does not actually please Guru and Krishna? Is it possible? Okay. Can someone, knowing very well that it is not conducive for my spiritual life to eat non-prasadam, have a desire to eat non-prasadam? Is it possible? Can it coexist in the same person? So now we will do a small exercise. Okay. What I want you to do is, all of you please close your eyes. Okay. I will hand over to you two drums or buckets, two buckets. One is the Anartha bucket, another is the Abhilasha bucket. Okay. What I want you to do is just think about some of the deep or not so deep desires that you have. I want you to segregate them into Anarthas and Abhilashas. Okay. I want you to segregate them into Anarthas and Abhilashas and put the Anarthas in the Anartha bucket and put the Abhilashas in the Abhilasha bucket. So please keep your eyes closed and consciously do this exercise. Segregate your desires, preferably the deep rooted ones first and the not so deep rooted ones next. Whatever you think is abhilasha, which is born out of your value system, put it in the abhilasha bucket, and whatever you think is an anartha, you put it in the anartha bucket. Consciously do this exercise. Okay, so you can open your eyes. I know we have unlimited desires. We don't have unlimited time though to do the segregation of all the desires. So what I am suggesting is you can keep the abhilasha bucket with yourself. You can hand over the anartha bucket. I will not take. You can keep it the side. I already have sufficient. So you can keep it on the side. Okay. You can please keep it. Keep your anartha bucket on the side. You can keep it. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Yes. So now you tell me, is your practice of bhakti anya bilashita shunyam? Is your bhakti anya bilashita shunyam? Right? Why didn't you feel that initially your bhakti was not, why did you feel that your bhakti was not anya bilashita shunyam? Huh? One of you answer, please raise your hands. Okay, that's, huh? Not having clarity about what? Yeah. We did not know that, we did not have clarity about the actual difference between desires in the form of abhilashas and desires in the form of anarthas. Correct? So, now, is everyone convinced that your practice of bhakti is anya bilashita shunyam? Is there anyone here who is still not convinced? Okay. So at least one of the 3 points we have addressed, isn't it? Of the 4, the main issue was anya bilashita shunyam. Right. What was the second issue? Huh? But that, I think most devotees did not have a major issue with that. Huh? Continuity was an issue, right? And anukulyana, is it favorable all the time or not? That was a question. Okay. So, you see the difference between mixed devotional service and Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, especially in the early stages. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is performing devotional service while being embarrassed by material desires in the form of anarthas. You understand? Performing devotional service while being embarrassed by material desires in the form of anarthas. What is mixed devotional service? Performing devotional service for fulfilling material desires in the form of abhilashas. You see the difference? Both have material desires, both perform bhakti, but there is a difference. For one, that material desire is an abhilasha, it is his goal. For another, the material desire is an anartha, it is an obstacle to attaining that goal. Correct? Do you understand the difference? Right? So, are you a mixed devotee or a Vaidhi sadhaka? Correct? Okay. Now, before we go to the problem of continuity, okay, we will go to that next issue. But before that, if there are any questions, discussion points based on this aspect of Anya Bilashita Shunyam or whatever else we have discussed from the beginning, we can open up for some questions or discussion points. Yes, bro. Now you can, I think you can distribute the mic.
When I perform devoting service, I conclude a lot of objects that maybe family members, friends, or relatives, like my daughter or son is not studying well, or is not focusing. So for those type of situations, we pray to the Lord. So is it just prayer?
Okay, what is your prayer?
My prayer, I pray to Lord that my daughter, she's not studying well. So please help her to study well.
Okay. So, okay. That is the prayer that you make, right? But I want to understand what is at the bottom of that prayer. If she studies well, what will happen? Why do you want her to study well?
Because she has to be settled well, that fulfill my responsibilities.
Why? So, if you fulfill your responsibilities, then what will happen?
So I can focus on my devotional service.
So, the actual desire that you have is, I want to focus on my devotional service. Okay. To focus on your devotional service, it becomes easier if your daughter studies well. If your daughter does not study well, then you may have to take additional time and effort away from your direct devotional practices and focus on her, which will take your direct time away from Krishna. Therefore, you want your daughter to study well. Correct? So, what is your actual prayer?
So I want to improve my time that I spend for devotion.
Yeah, that is okay. Anything else? Yes.
Laziness, then lack of determination, lack of sincerity. Where do people?
You tell me.
I was confused with it.
Okay. Oh, simple. If you are proud of it, it comes in Abhilasha. If you are embarrassed about it, it comes in Anartha. You tell me. Laziness, lack of determination, are you proud of it? Abhilasha?
Because it is embarrassment that I have a son.
So it is an Anartha, right?
It is an Anartha.
It is there in the form of an Anartha. Yeah. Behind.
So if you look at the desire, so desire is my spiritual master, desire quality comes, these are all abhilashas. So if we look at pure devotional service definitions, it's related to the Krishna Shila, because Guru is also connected.
Krishna, yeah.
So in that sense, how it will be mixed devotional service?
I never said it's mixed devotional service.
Definitions.
Oh.
The definition. Because you're telling that, can you please show?
Which definition? Mixed definition. Oh. So mixed devotional service.
Now just showed.
No, this one, right? This is mixed devotional service. Oh, okay. Oh, that one. Okay. Okay.
Here, Abhilasha is connected to Guru, and that is in terms Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah. Abhilasha means Abhilasha means goal. For a pure devotee, the goal is only to please Krishna. But for mixed devotees, they can have other goals also. Abhilasha is specific. Now, what is the goal of a cricketer? To get into Indian cricket team, correct? Now, what is the goal of a person who does social service? To help as many people as possible. So, goal changes from person's qualification, right? So, what is Abhilasha for you need not be the Abhilasha for a mixed devotee. So, here what we see as Abhilasha, desire to please my spiritual master, is for pure devotees. And this desire may also be there in a mixed devotee. But apart from that, he may also have, I want to become famous. Right? For us, that desire for fame is in the form of an anartha. For them, it is in the form of an abhilasha. For them, it is not anartha. So, anartha and abhilasha, the definition varies from people to people. Is it clear?
To some extent, but
okay. No, let me clarify. Okay, I will give a very simple example. I mean, I don't know if it would be simple. Most of you have done Bhakti Shastri, right? So basic, I mean, you know some basic about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, etc. Now, for a Nishkama Karma Yogi, liberation is Abhilasha, goal. Whereas, and lawful material desires are acceptable. Lawful material desires. Oh, not acceptable for a Nishkama Karma Yogi. Okay, he has to give them up. They are anarthas. Unlawful material desires are also anarthas. Liberation is abhilasha. For a devotee, liberation is, desire for liberation is anartha. Correct? And other material desires, etc., they are also anarthas. Desire to please Krishna is abhilasha. Desire to please spiritual master is abhilasha. So you see, abhilasha and anartha change from person to person. For an outright materialist, to enjoy in this material world is abhilasha. To escape all material suffering is abhilasha. To please the spiritual master is, he does not have that desire only, right? Either in the form of abhilasha or in the form of anartha, he does not have. Okay. He does not have spiritual master only. Where is the question now? So this abhilasha and anartha definitions vary from person to person. There, according to their qualification, it varies. Basically, forget about abhilasha. Take it as goal and obstacles to attaining that goal. Goal and obstacles to attaining that goal.
So, on previous sessions, what we had mentioned, Gajendra was a mistake.
Correct.
And he was taken back to Godhead. So, how a mixed devotee can be taken to Godhead by the Lord?
Okay. Gajendra is a mixed devotee here, but he was a Kripa Siddha. By Kripa, from a mixed devotee, he became a pure devotee. So, those are very unique, different cases. And by the way, mixed devotees can also go back home, back to Godhead. But they cannot experience prema. So, if you want to go to back home, back to Godhead and experience prema, then you have to not just practice pure devotional service, you have to perfect it. But if you perfect mixed devotional service, if the bhakti element is significant, predominant, then you can go to Vaikuntha. but not experience prema. You will experience something less than prema. That is possible. Any other question? Yeah.
After that, they just call it Narayana God.
Yeah.
So is this an exceptional case, or how do you see this?
That's a very complicated case. It needs a lot of time to clarify. But I will just briefly. It's a complicated case. Okay. I need a long time to clarify it. So let us keep it to our own personal practice rather than getting into Shastric personalities. See, one thing in Bhakti is that if there is no offenses, then even if there is no conscious practice of Bhakti, still the Lord rewards Bhava or Prema. The case of Ajamil is a very prototype example. Lot of sins, no offenses, which is generally not possible. It's not at all possible. But it is not impossible. Very rare chance is there that a person who is highly sinful may not have offense, the 10 offenses. Like for example, if someone may be very pious, he is very respectful, okay, he is very respectful, he is very gentle, but will that piety become bhakti? No. When will that piety help him come towards bhakti? Huh? If that respect is directed towards a devotee, if that gentleness is directed towards a devotee, then what does he get? What does he get? Agyata Sukriti. You have heard this? Agyata Sukriti. He will get that Agyata Sukriti. Otherwise, he will get Sukriti, material Sukriti. When directed towards devotee, he will get Agyata Sukriti. The same way, someone is very disrespectful. He has sinful inclinations. He is a thief. If he steals from a non-devotee, what will he get? Sin, bad karma. If he steals from a devotee, what will he get? It will be offensive because you are causing trouble to a devotee. So, if a person is highly sinful, it is very likely that he will be highly offensive also, because all that he needs to do is to direct those sinful inclinations towards a devotee. But what if things are orchestrated in such a way that this person does not come in touch with the devotee, or very rarely comes in touch with the devotee? Okay. In such a case, he can be highly sinful, but he will be fairly offenseless. Now, if that offenseless person, even though he may be sinful, when he chants the holy names, immediately there is effect. Okay. Now, Shastras will have only such extreme examples. Why? To show the effect of the holy name. Otherwise, if a highly sinful person who is also highly offensive, when he chants the holy names, because of the offenses, the holy name is offended. The holy name chooses not to give benefit to that person. Not that the holy name is not capable, but the holy name chooses not to. So when the holy name chooses not to respond, what will people say? The holy name cannot respond. Or if the person was very pious and he chants the holy names and immediately he attains liberation, what will people say? Oh, the holy name anyways did not have to do much. Or they will say, oh, this happened by his piety. Correct? So you need a person who is very sinful, so that there is so that people see that the holy name is doing something substantial. But for the holy name to respond, he has to be free of offenses also. Otherwise, it will be like, running a Formula One car in Bangalore traffic. Formula One cars, very fast cars. In Bangalore traffic, what will happen? Potency is there. 300 kilometers per hour they can run. But in Bangalore traffic, what will it do? Nothing. Okay. A Formula One car and a bicycle are the same. Okay. Probably a bicycle can go faster. You can find out. Okay. So that is the problem. So the Shastras, they take very extreme examples and create a very strong, very unique prototypes, so that you communicate the holy name has this potential, just to show. Otherwise, if there are a lot of offenses, how will you understand you cannot understand how fast a Formula One car is in Bangalore traffic. It has to have a free road. Only then it can run at 300 kilometers per hour. Right? So Ajamil's case is like that, but it's generally not the case. In our case, if we chant one holy name, nothing will happen, because we have committed so many offenses. The holy name wants to see more sincerity, like that. Yes, Mataji.
Just a generic question. So obviously we have to be free all the time, including the pressure. We have to be very clear the goal is Krishna Prema. Not even going to, so because in ISKCON, generally we tend to talk in parallel, going to Goloka, parallel.
Yeah. Well, people may say that, okay, but what do they mean? We will have to try to understand. Many times people say, I want to go back to Godhead. Sometimes people may just feel, I just don't want to suffer here, I want to go. That may be their meaning. Sometimes people say, I want to go back to Goloka because that's where my Lord is. In that mode, they may say. If that is the mode in which they say, it is not contrary. सालोक्य साष्टि सामीप्य सारूप्य एकत्वमप्युत दीयमानां न गृणन्ति विना मत्सेवनम जना. Without service, I don't want, the devotees do not accept salokya, sarshti, all these kinds of liberations. But if seva is there, and it is very much there in Goloka Vrindavan, so for that purpose, if they want to go, that is fine. So not everyone who says, I want to go back home, back to Godhead, is necessarily telling that because they want to escape suffering. They may be saying that because they want to uninterruptedly serve the Supreme Lord. With that desire, if they express that desire, that is perfectly fine. Yes, Anjan Prabhu. Mike.
Hare Krishna, Lordji. The answer to the previous question, you said that those who sins, but those who don't affect the devotees, they chant on control, they can make progress. Is that what Prabhupada's initiative said? Because they were no devotees for them to affect, but they were doing
in this lifetime.
Yeah, they were doing lots of sins.
In this lifetime. But millions of lifetimes you have lived in this world. So we do not know. So to some of the very elevated Prabhupada's disciples who showed very quick progress, documented very clear, very quick progress. So it is quite possible, yes, maybe there were no offenses, or they had clearly practiced bhakti in their previous lives, and achieved significant advancement, and in this life they came in touch with Prabhupada. That is also possible. Now, we need not ask questions related to the Ajamil question answer, but because that will be a whole different discussion only. So, if it is connected to what we have discussed today, yeah.
Okay, this connection. So Swabhavas is there, these three kinds of Swabhavas. When we interact with Abhilashas, their acts, sadhana is super strong.
Abhilasha?
The sadhana is very nice, but sometimes the Swabhava pops up, and then that is where we tend to commit offense.
Correct.
How would we see and how would we deal with it?
That is why we have to know clearly what our goal is, and we have to learn to see through the eyes of the Shastras. Right? Sometimes we don't like our boss. What do? We tolerate. Why do we tolerate? Huh? Because we want our salary and we want our job. Right? Basic cost benefit analysis. Right? Same thing. Yes, the devotee may have his own bad swabhava. But what does Rupa Goswami say? Drishtair swabhava janitair vapushascha doshair na prakritattvamiha bhakta janasya pashyet gangam basam na kalubud budafena pankair brahmadravatvam apagacchati neeradharmair. If you see a devotee having a material conditioning, you neglect it. Because even though Ganga has, during the rainy season, may have a lot of mud and bubble and other such impurities, the ability of Ganga to purify is not compromised. Similarly, a devotee in this material world will have conditioning, but as long as he is practicing bhakti, that conditioning will eventually go away and he will become an associate of Krishna. So, we need to, even though conditioning is what is immediately visible, but we are supposed to see beyond the condition. Okay. So someone who wants to be a radiologist, he should learn to read the X-ray films and the MRI reports. He cannot say that, what is physically visible, only that I will see. For that, you don't have to become a radiologist. Okay, you don't have to study MBBS and then MD radiology and all. You don't have to do. So similarly, if we have to become devotees, to see anarthas, everyone can see. For that, you don't have to be a devotee to see that someone has lust, anger, envy, pride, arrogance, etc. That everyone can see. But if we are devotees, then we should learn to see what is beyond that. That is the desire to serve Krishna. And we should have faith in the potency of that act of serving Krishna, which is capable of purifying those anarthas and taking one person back.
Hare Krishna. So, as you mentioned, we have unlimited conditions. So, few of them which we can here. So, remaining lot of conditions. So, how do we channelize them to achieve what's pure? So, we also have unlimited conditions.
Yeah. Yeah, when we practice bhakti slowly, the conditionings will get destroyed. Gradually, it will happen.
The same question, that third option that we have, that the 11th canto, that
Yeah.
will that mood can be imperfect in our Krishna consciousness just like that, because
Yeah.
in reality we see that the takes a long time.
Long means how long?
Practically, like still guessing that condition that still.
How long have you been in this material world? Millions of lifetimes. Compared to that, few years, and then a few decades, or maybe 2 or 3 lifetimes, it may take. Still a short duration. We don't have a choice. Shraddhalur Dridha Nischaya. Tato bhajeta mam prita. If we get depressed, we cannot practice. So without depression, we have to worship Krishna. Without doubting the process and with firm determination. Keep on doing it. And gradually, Anarthana Vritti will get accomplished. We'll come to Nishta. Nishta will become Ruchi. Ruchi will become Asakti. Asakti will become Bhava. Bhava will become Prema. We just have to, the process is the same. Day in and day out, day in and day out, do the same thing. And the process is capable. We have to trust the process. Okay, one last question. Yes.
So that means you are telling that Prema Bhakti is possible even for the foreign nations on the side.
Otherwise, why are you practicing Krishna consciousness?
So sometimes we get this doubt.
No. You tell me why you are practicing Krishna consciousness. That's what I am also telling. So you already believe in it, right? That's why we all are doing. And Prabhupada said, the Purvacharyas also said the same thing. So if we trust them, then it is possible. And I am sure all of them are speaking to conditions also. Right? Otherwise, if only non-conditioned souls can get prema, then what is the potency of bhakti? What credit does bhakti deserve then? Yes.
What should be nurtured? Is it reduce the anarthas or increase the anarthas? But what should be?
Both. The desire to suppress the anartha also comes from the abhilasha only. Isn't it? They are connected. The more is your desire to please the spiritual master, the more will we work on, not acting according to our anartha. So they are connected. Okay. So now at least one part we have addressed, right? The difference between anartha and abhilasha, we have understood, right? That is why Srila Rupa Goswami defines bhakti as what? Uttama bhakti as anya abhilashita shunyam. Does he define it as anya anartha shunyam? He doesn't define, right? Rather, he says anarthas can be destroyed by practice of bhakti, uttama bhakti. From Shraddha to Prema, the 9 stages are 9 stages of what? Huh? What group? Increasing the Shraddha of what Shraddha? What is the nature of that Shraddha? What Shraddha is that? Mixed devotional faith, pure devotional faith, which faith? Pure devotional faith, right? In Nectar of Devotion, how many of you have done Bhakti Rasam Sindhu? Please raise your hands. I will not point at you individually and ask. You can raise your hands. Only few. Okay. So, in defining these 9 stages, does Srila Rupa Goswami say, till Anartha Nivritti is mixed devotion, after that it is pure devotion, like that he says? No, right? So, the 9 stages are what? 9 stages of pure devotion, right? So, which means, while one is undergoing Anartha Nivritti, that is also the stage of pure devotion only, right? That is why he does not define Shuddha Bhakti as Anya Anartha Shunyam. Okay. And also, if you define that sadhana bhakti, at least the early stages is mixed devotion, there is another problem. What sadhana you do, same sadhya you will get. Sadhana, practice, sadhya, goal. It's not that you practice mixed devotion and you get the goal of pure devotion. Okay. So, The Shastras clearly give for Karma Mishra Bhakti what is the goal. For Jnana Mishra Bhakti, what is the goal? For Sattvic Bhakti, what is the goal? For Rajasic Bhakti, what is the goal? For Shuddha Bhakti, what is the goal? Shuddha Bhakti, what is the goal means what? For Shuddha Bhakti sadhana, what is the sadhya? What is the goal? So if you practice Shuddha Bhakti sadhana only, you can get Shuddha Bhakti sadhya. You cannot practice Mishra Bhakti sadhana and attain Shuddha Bhakti sadhya. So if you say, while I have anarthas, I am practicing Mishra Bhakti, then your sadhya or goal will not be, it cannot be Krishna Prema. It has to be something different. Correct? Okay. Now let's address the next point, which is the point of continuity. This is a very critical point. Because if we cannot understand this continuity point, then the problem is that we are not practicing bhakti only. There is no question of discussing whether our practice of bhakti is pure or not. That comes later. But for practicing or for our practice of bhakti to be pure, first we should be very clear that we are practicing bhakti only. If you are not practicing bhakti, where is the question of our practice of bhakti being pure? That is not at all possible. Okay. But for our practice to be accepted as bhakti, it has to have these two features. What are the two features? What are the two features? Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. And Anu in Anushilanam means continuous. So if our practice of bhakti is not continuous, then where is the question of it being bhakti at all? Because Krishna Anushilanam is a Mukhya Lakshana. It is not a Gauna Lakshana. Okay. Now let us try to understand this. This is very critical. Please hear this carefully. How many of you have heard this verse? Smartavyas satatam Vishnor vismartavyo na jatachit sarve vidhi nishedyasyur etayor eva kinkara. You have heard this? One should always remember Krishna and never forget him. Sarva vidhi nishedaha. All the injunctions and prohibitions, etayor eva kinkarahasyu. They are all dependent on these two principles. Okay. And this verse is quoted in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami in the section on Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. In the section on Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, he quotes this verse. One should always remember Krishna. One should never forget Krishna. Which means at the stage of Vaidhi Sadhana, it should be possible. Right? How many of you always remember Krishna? How many of you never forget Krishna? Never forget Krishna. So, which means we are not even practicing Vaidhi Sadhana then. Right? But see Srila Jiva Goswami's explanation to this. I will go directly to the relevant part. He says, Satatam means every day, not every second. Since continuous remembrance would be impossible to do in sadhana bhakti. This would produce loss of faith in the rules of bhakti because they would be impossible to follow. If someone says, Prabhu, 24 hours, even while you are sleeping, you should remember Krishna. For you to be considered as a Vaidhi Sadhaka. Then they'll say, okay, what else can I practice? I won't practice Vaidhi Sadhana. It's not possible, right? So he says, Satatam means every day, not every second. If you define it like that, then, it should be possible, right? It would produce loss of faith. Okay. But still, the word satatam comes. So satatam means what? Every day. To begin with every day. To begin with. Then dhyayans tuvams tasya yashas tri sandhyam. 3 times a day. Then you keep on increasing that remembrance. Okay. So therefore, we have to understand satatam according to, if in the sadhana bhakti level only one is able to continuously remember Krishna, then what will happen at sadhya bhakti, at prema? Okay. So we have to understand anu or continuous in the case of sadhakas. So if you see, sadhakas engage in 3 types of activities. Okay. Throughout the day. First is you see, they perform limbs of devotional service. Right? You wake up, chant the holy names. Okay. And you attend Mangalarati, hear Bhagavatam class, do Tulsi Puja, attend the other artis, honor Prasadam. These are performing the limbs of devotional service. We also engage in firefighting, dealing with the anarthas. Sometimes lust attacks, sometimes anger attacks, sometimes greed attacks, sometimes desire for fame attacks. Right? Sometimes we succumb, sometimes we get up. Right? This happens. And the third is, we also engage in planning to improve one's own practice. Okay, this time I fell prey to this problem. What can I do next? Tomorrow I will improve. We plan. So we engage in all these 3 activities. Okay. So while engaging in all these 3 activities, something is continuous in us. What is that? Please raise your hands and answer. Yes, Prabhu. Huh? Desire to improve. And where is that coming from? Shraddha or Swabhava? Shraddha. So the Shraddha is continuous, isn't it? Shraddha is continuous. So what is Anu is our Shraddha. Is it right? While engaging in and our Abhilasha is continuous, isn't it? Our Abhilasha is continuous. So while succumbing to an anartha, does your goal change? No, right? You all have children, right? So some of your children may be preparing for competitive exams, NEET, JEE. Okay. So they go to classes. What is their goal? To somehow get into a medical college or IIT. Okay. You see them studying. Some other time, you see them playing video games. You go and tell them, "Hey, I thought your goal was to go to IIT." And he says, "Yes. When did I say my goal is not to go to IIT? But I see you playing video games." So he'll say, "Yes, but I can't study all the time. I get, so I am doing it because I am unable to focus." Yes, he is succumbing to playing video game. Is it favorable for getting into IIT or not? It's not favorable, right? But sometimes when you don't have that kind of attraction to physics, chemistry and mathematics, spontaneous natural attraction, then what will happen? Sometimes your mind will go to somewhere where you have your spontaneous material attraction only, right? That does not mean his goal has changed. His goal is still to get into IIT only. Even though you catch him engaging in an activity which will definitely not take him to IIT. Okay. So, even in him, what is Anu is his goal. You ask him, this, do you think playing video games will get you to IIT? He will also say no. What will he say? I'm sorry, I got tempted. I'm sorry, I got tempted. I'll keep it aside. That's what he'll say. He knows. Not that he does not know. He knows what is Anukul, what is Pratikul. So his Shraddha is still same. While studying physics, chemistry, mathematics, or while playing video games, his Shraddha is same. His Abhilasha is same. His goal has not changed. But sometimes, due to lack of taste in activities which fall under Abhilasha and enormous taste in that which is trying to leave behind. Enormous taste in that which he is trying to leave behind, that will be there. The transition period is there. Prabhupada says, as soon as you switch off the fan will keep rotating for some time. Okay, that is there. So, but even while rotating, what is constant? The desire to stop is constant. Because the switch has been put off, right? It's moving. Even while moving, sometimes after it moves for a while, it stops. But just when it is switched off, it is still moving. Moving does not mean that it wants to move. Right? Moving does not mean that it wants to move. Moving can also mean it is unable to stop. There is a difference. Right? When you are trying to get down from a running train, don't do it. Okay. When you see someone trying to get down from a running train, you don't do it. When you see someone trying to get down from a running train, he wants to stop or run. He wants to stop or move. But when he is trying to get down, will he immediately stop? If he tries to immediately stop, what will happen? He'll fall down because he will not be able to match the, if he tries to land his feet forcefully, the inertia of motion will take the upper body ahead. He'll fall down. Right? So he will run for a while and then slowly come to rest. While he is moving, he is trying to stop. That is a sadhaka. Right? While he is succumbing, he is trying to stop. That desire to stop and the endeavor to stop is coming from Shraddha. But the movement is coming from is Swabhava, the form of Anartha. So even when there is stoppage of in between, there is stoppage, there is lack of continuity in actions, there is continuity in intentions. And it is that continuity which is described as Anu in Anushilana. It is not actions itself, it is the intention, the desire. Is it clear? So otherwise you see, we are engaged in Bhakti Poshaka Karma as devotees, things which nourish our Bhakti, like we attend Mangalarti, we chant the holy names with devotees, we hear Bhagavatam with the devotees, we dance with the devotees. These are Bhakti Poshaka Karma. But sometimes we have to do some loka sangraha karma also. Some activities to please others, to please the family members, to please the society, so that they don't disturb us. We have to engage in occupational karma. We have to go for our office and other such things. We have to engage in sleeping. We have to engage in activities for bodily maintenance, isn't it? And we have to engage in firefighting, dealing with our anarthas. But in doing all this, what is common? What is Anu? Anu is our intention, our goal, our faith. Everything it doesn't change, right? And it is natural. How many of you are working? How many of you are working full time? Then what are you doing here? If you are a full time employee, then what are you doing here? Then you are not full time employee, right? But even while you are off at home, what is it that defines you as an employee? Huh? That is okay. Even if they don't call you for emergency, what is it that defines you as a full-time employee? Huh? Yeah, you are getting mentally prepared for the next week. You are getting you are getting rejuvenated for the next week. You are spending time with your family so that you feel emotionally fulfilled and not drained to come enthusiastic the next week, so that you don't get disturbed the next week, right? And you work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, even though you are a full-time employee, right? You don't even work half time. Day has 24 hours, max you work 8 hours. And even the 8 hours you are there in office, it's not like 8 hours you work also. Right? Still, okay. So even the outer world, so therefore if one engages even in firefighting or sleeping, it's not that while sleeping you are not engaging in devotional service. You want to sleep so that you can feel fresh for engaging in devotional service. That sleeping becomes devotional service, a secondary limb of devotional service. Anu, it is still Anu. It's not that while sleeping your goal has changed. After you get up, you get a different goal. It's not like that. While sleeping also you have the same goal. You have the same faith. You have the same intention. Right? So, therefore, where did I put this? Okay, maybe later it comes. So the nature of firefighting keeps changing gradually. One reaches Nishta. Okay. But firefighting will be there. Okay. And that is documented by our acharyas. In Madhurya Kadambini, which is a small book written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he talks about the various stages of bhakti. Okay. Rupa Goswami talks about these 9 stages: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, and so on. But he does not explain in detail what they are, except for bhava and prema. Okay. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this Madhurya Kadambini, he elaborates what is Nishta, what is Anartha Nivritti. When anarthas are there, How does bhajana kriya happen? It is called as unsteady devotional service. Anishtita bhajana kriya, which means there is unsteadiness in bhajan. But still it is called as bhajana kriya. Okay. But if it is unsteady, there is no anu. If there is no anu, it is not bhakti. If it is not bhakti, it cannot be called as bhajana kriya. So, if you take anu to mean continuous in action, then anishtita bhajana kriya is an oxymoron. You know what is oxymoron? You know oxymoron? You know what it is? Opposite words. You know, like you can say, you can come tonight in the morning. You know, like that, something like that you say. Huh? Hot ice. You know, little more. Yeah, that's more of a, you can say, like a conventional usage. Thoda bahut. Okay. So thoda ya bahut. So that's more of a conventional usage, but oxymoron is more like absurd. You know, it's not even there in convention. That kind of. Okay. Hot ice. Get me a cup of hot ice. You know, that is oxymoron, because ice means it is cold. So if you say anishtita bhajana kriya, if you take anu to mean continuous, but anishtita means it is not continuous, it is like telling continuous non-continuous bhakti or non-continuous continuous bhakti. Because bhakti by default has to be anushilanam. And anu means what? Continuous. Now if you say anishtita, what does it mean? Non-continuous. How can you have non-continuous continuous engagement in service of Krishna? That would become oxymoron, right? But still, Vishwanath Chakravarti calls it as anishtita bhajana kriya. Kriya, action of bhajan. Bhajan means bhakti. Okay. So, and he talks about 6 levels of anishtita bhajana kriya. Unsteady devotional service. Unsteady means non-continuous. Okay. Utsahamayi, ghanatarala, vyuda vikalpa, vishaya sangara, niyamakshama, and tarangarangini. Okay. Utsahamayi means what? False confidence. In the initial stage, you know, I will not get into the details because we don't have much time. In the initial stage, Utsahamai means people come and they say, first day only I chanted 4 rounds, which means second day 8 rounds, third day 12 rounds, fourth day 16 rounds, which means in 2 weeks I will chant 32 rounds, 1 month 64 rounds. You calculate. And then you ask, Prabhuji, how many rounds you chant? 16 rounds. How many years you have been practicing bhakti? 16 years. I think I am progressing very fast. He thinks. Okay, that is Utsahamai. Utsahamai means false confidence. Okay, false confidence. It's like, how many of you have run cross-country races or marathon like that? Anyone here? No? No one? At least long distance races has anyone run? So, I remember I was in a boarding school and we used to have cross-country races. But every Saturday morning, we used to have compulsory cross-country. Every day morning, we have physical training, exercises. Every Saturday, we used to have cross-country races. And if you see, the intake in the school is in the 6th grade. Okay. 6th grade intake, then you see, as soon as on Saturday morning, when they say go, you will see all 6th graders running in the front very fast. Okay. They'll be like, running really fast, and they'll be thinking, wow, these are all my seniors. Okay. If in half a kilometer I already have 100-meter edge over him, then by the time I cover 10 kilometers, I'll be like really, I'll have a 2-3 kilometer edge over my seniors. Like that, you'll think. And he was running fast, fast, fast. And in half a kilometer, that cross country race only is over. Okay. Because cross country race is not supposed to be run that way. Okay. You have to conserve your energy slowly, 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 slowly. You have to conserve it for long, long distance. Okay. So that is utsahamayi, initial false confidence. Yes. Okay. I will not go into details because that's not the purpose. Next is called as ghana tarala, sporadic endeavor. Ghana means thick, tarala means thin. Thick, thin practice of bhakti. What is that? Sometimes you think that Prabhuji, I think I have lot of taste for chanting. I have developed lot of taste for chanting. Today I will chant 32. Next day you are struggling to even pick up your bead bag. Okay. So this person, Utsahamayi person, when he reaches, he thinks 4, 8, 16, in 2 weeks 64, in 1 month 128. I think very soon, within 2 months, I will touch Haridas Thakur only, it looks like. Now it feels like that. Okay, 192 seems very much doable. Like that he feels. But he realizes that reality dawns very soon. Okay. The dawning of reality is called as Gana Tarala. When he is struggling to pick up the bead bag only. He says, 16 is for initiated disciples only, no? And yesterday I chanted 32 and I'm not initiated also. So it is covered up. Today I will not chant. Okay. So that is Ghana Tarala. It may not happen in such extremes, but it can happen to us in little less extremes also. Okay. Then this is called as Ghana Tarala. Another stage of Anishtita Bhajana Kriya. Unsteady. Then he comes to the stage of Vyuda Vikalpa. He says, this thick, thin devotional service will not do good. What should I do? You know what? Maybe every day I travel a long distance to go to office. Maybe I should get a house closer to my office so that so every day I'm traveling 2 hours to office, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, 4 hours. If I move close to the office, I will save at least 3.5 hours, which means I can study 2 hours of Bhagavatam and chant 16 extra rounds. Like that he thinks. And then after some time he realizes that the extra time is there, but it is not getting utilized in Krishna's service. So he decides, oh, maybe if I move closer to temple, then everything will be solved. Then again from closer to office, he comes back again to closer to temple. Okay. Like that he keeps on trying out various things. What should I do to make my devotional service very steady? This is called as Vyuda Vikalpa. At least he has identified that this thick, thin practice is no good. I have to change. Then, while he is changing all these external things, at some point, he realizes that actually the unsteady nature of my bhakti is not due to these external things, but actually it is due to my uncontrolled mind and senses. Okay. That is called as Vishaya Sangara, where he identifies that it is due to his uncontrolled mind and senses, and he starts fighting with them. Okay. Then he becomes somewhat steady with his mind and senses, but still he may not be able to keep up. He's trying to increase his vows more and more, but then he's not able to keep up those additional vows. That is called as niyama kshama. And then comes tarangarangini, where he has become very steady in his practice of bhakti. Everyday mangalarti, very good japa. Then what happens? Everyone starts telling, the only pure devotee in our temple is this Prabhuji. Okay. So then it gets into his head. Okay. So that starts controlling him. So even though he is still every day coming in the morning and chanting, he is like thinking, yeah, maybe how can so many people be wrong? Okay. If one person says, 2% says it's okay. If everyone says, it must be correct. Like that. So that is Tarangarangini. So all these kind of things causes anishtita bhajana kriya, non-continuous, unstable devotional service. Right. So the nature of firefighting may change, but firefighting will remain till we reach the stage of nishtha. And even after we reach the stage of nishtha, minimal amount of firefighting will be there. Right. So I just summarized these sections. Okay. So in all these types of anishtita bhajana kriya or unsteady devotional service, what is steady or anu is the shraddha, the goal, the willingness, and not capability. Willingness to continuously engage in Krishna consciousness is the anu, not the capability. If someone thinks, I don't think, just give me one second. It's okay. Hare Krishna. So yeah. So in all these types of anishtita bhajana kriya, what is steady is our faith, our goal, our willingness, not the capability. Capability may fluctuate. Just like a person trying to get off the train, even though he is running, but he wants to stop. You cannot ask, if he wants to stop, why is he running? The point is, while running, he is trying to stop, because he cannot stop immediately. It will take his time. So talking about other activities, okay, even when engaging in ordinary bodily activities, anushilanam is accomplished, even though there is no active engagement in core devotional activities. There is a verse from the book called as Vishnu Rahasya, which Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes in one of his commentaries to Bhagavatam. He says, Utsargan malamutrades chitta swastyam yato bhavet atah payur upastascha tad aradhana sadhanam. He says, chitta swastyam yato bhavet. Chitta is mind. Swastyam means health. So because the mind maintains a healthy state, how? Utsargan malamutrades. By excreting stool and urine. If our digestive system is not functioning properly, if we are not able to excrete, expel the waste properly, then it affects our mind, because Apana Vayu is affected when there is no proper expulsion of waste. And Apana Vayu affects the Prana Vayu, and Prana Vayu affects the mind. So, if one endeavors to, when one goes to take care of the morning duties in the form of expelling waste, it is also devotional service, because you need a healthy mind to actually engage in devotional service. Atah, therefore, payuhu upastasta, the anus and genitals, tad aradhana sadhanam, are actually considered as instruments to engage in sadhana bhakti. So you cannot say that while taking care of my morning duties, where is the continuity of my devotional service? You cannot say. Okay. I am doing it for the purpose of engaging in devotional service, active devotional service. So that also becomes devotional service. Anushilanam. So while engaging in you can say sense gratification, where is the continuity? Guilt. Have you ever realized that while engaging in devotionals in sense gratification, you are no longer able to enjoy it as you used to enjoy prior to coming to Krishna consciousness? You have had this experience? Not possible. Okay. The guilt, the pinprick is always there. Okay. That is that anu. That is because of that anu. So even though sense gratification may be there, but the pinprick is also there continuously. That pinprick is the symptom of that anushila, because that is coming from Shraddha. Okay. Any quick discussion points, comments, questions about the continuity aspect that we have discussed till now? Yes, bro.
Well, you mentioned about sadhana. It
Yeah.
is done every day, not every second. Every day.
To begin with. To begin with.
I was trying to, I want to connect it with this anu that we're discussing. It is anu is like every second, every aspect is devotion. Yes, sir, but it's not every day. It's healing every day, it's not every day.
So every day means the activity is every day, the intention is every second. You understand? Are you able to remember Krishna right now? Not right now. But your intention to remember Krishna all the time is there? That's what. That is anu. So that example was given just to illustrate that the action may not necessarily be continuous. That is the point. Intention has to be continuous.
Everyday aspect is to bring the Vaidhi sadhana, which eventually comes to this slowly. The activities will also be
Continuous. Yes.
And another point mentioned that sleep.
No, even in their case, the Bhava Bhaktas, Prema Bhaktas will also sleep.
Yeah.
Right? They will also, it's not that anyone who is engaged in occupational duty is not a Bhava Bhakta. Even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, you see Shivananda Sen and many others, they had occupational duties. Murari Gupta was a doctor. Mukunda was a doctor. Mukunda Sarkar was a doctor. Shivananda Sen was working. So it's not that they were all the time engaged in active devotional activities. They were engaged in their occupational activities also, even though they were at the stage of prema.
Yeah, that's what my second question was. Like sleeping and all occupational activities, they are not directly in the devotional service, but indirectly. So how it is considered as activity is continuous?
Intention. While you are sleeping, you know that if I don't sleep now, tomorrow morning I'll not be able to chant properly. You know that. I'll not be able to stay awake in my Bhagavatam class. You know that. So, in order to, uh, enthusiastically and, with a fresh mind and body to perform devotional service, you are taking rest. That is. So, that way the intention is continuous. The intention to properly practice devotional service is continuous, even while sleeping.
So that is valid even in our.
Yeah. And for them, even while sleeping, they are remembering Krishna, actually. For us, we are sleeping so that we can remember Krishna. Okay. For them, while sleeping also, they are remembering Krishna. Like, what is that verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita? Kaite Shuite. What is that? Huh? Kaite Shuite? Even while sleeping and while eating, one chants the holy name. One chants the holy names, like that. So for them, while sleeping also they chant. For us, while chanting also we may sleep. Okay. Even though both personalities are engaged in both activities together. Okay. For them, while sleeping they uncontrollably chant, but for us, while chanting we uncontrollably sleep. So, like that. But in both cases, the intention to chant continuously is Anu. That is there. For them, it is actually Anu. Intention and action are Anu. For us, the intention is Anu. Action will become Anu in future also. Yes.
My question is our daily sadhana practice that constitutes the remembrance of Krishna? And what are these?
No, one question at a time.
No, and what are the situations that they constitute that have got our Krishna? And where it is we are not.
What? When we are not remembering Krishna?
To say that intention is Anu. What does that mean that we are forgetting?
Yeah. Is that correct?
Question is, our daily sadhana practices, is that what constitutes remembrance of Krishna?
That can potentially stimulate remembrance of Krishna in future. That can stimulate remembrance. We chant. While chanting, we may not always remember Krishna, but chanting itself, it may in future stimulate remembrance of Krishna more. While hearing Bhagavatam, we may not continuously remember Krishna, but if we continue to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, it may stimulate our remembrance in future.
What is the remember Krishna? When it's form.
Yeah. Namasmaranam, Rupasmaranam, Leela-smaranam, Gunasmaranam, different types of remembrance.
Isn't that we consciously try or sometimes automatically?
Both. We have to consciously try to remember also. And if we practice that over a period of time, it may become spontaneous.
Make too much of a distinction between a conditioned soul and the liberated soul. Because
No.
Because previously you mentioned that this is bhajan. Because just because
This is anishtita bhajana, I said.
for defining
Yes.
continuous.
Yeah.
So even though there is not a direct remembrance, but if
Intention to, yeah.
Does that mean that is also?
I did not say that is, I said that is also pure bhakti in sadhana. I did not say that is pure bhakti at the stage of prema.
Sure, but it can't be considered as continuous bhakti.
It is considered as continuous bhakti only, because it is bhakti only if it is continuous. If it is not continuous, it is not bhakti. Why? Because anushilanam, anu in anushilanam means continuous, and anushilanam is a mukhya lakshan. And if mukhya lakshan is not there, it is not bhakti.
Okay, then one more question arises. When Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "Mam chayo yugichanam bhakti yogyamasi puran samadhi amabuya yata." Is this qualified for being above the rules?
Avyabhicharena bhakti means jnana karmadi anavrita bhakti. So that which is not mixed with jnana, karma, etc., that is avyabhichari bhakti. And if one practices that, one can transcend over the three modes. Not that. Okay, now, because you asked this question, we will have to discuss this one point. Okay. Chaitanya Prasad, till what time do we have? Huh? Okay. Tomorrow, how much time do we have? 2.5 hours. Okay. So now, oh, you can take their opinion. So is that the bottleneck?
Yeah.
Is there any other concern? Huh. Okay. Okay.
That is one.
Hmm.
After that, we will begin.
Okay. So you can ask them, today evening, is there some other event? They have to go back. So you can ask them till what time they can stay, so that I'll get some rough idea. Because I need to know which to cut, which to complete.
Hare Krishna. So we can take a 5 minutes break. Just go around and when we have the news also. During that time, we will have the question answer session. Yeah, there. And we will take up 5 minutes. Then okay. There are many questions. The interactions are the essence of this whole discussion, this workshop, as we are seeing how things are becoming more and more interesting. So tomorrow we have another 2.5 hours gathering between here. So how many of you think you can find the meaning? Because we have a Sadhana and division. So can't be there. Yeah. So how many of you think till 5:30 p.m. more we can stay back and think?
Thank you.
After that, we have the choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, where were we? Oh, yeah. Okay. So we will talk about this modes. How do modes affect? Okay. So actually the three modes, they can affect one's faith, or they can affect one's swabhava. Shraddha or swabhava. The three modes can affect both. Okay. A faith which is unaffected by the three modes. Now, what will faith do? Faith will inspire sadhana. What will Swabhava do? Swabhava will create obstacles. Okay. Faith will inspire sadhana and Swabhava will create obstacles. Okay. So, if the faith is pure, it inspires desire to perform pure devotional service. Anya vilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulyana krishnana shilam bhakti ruttama. If the same faith, here when we say faith, we are talking about Shastric faith. Okay. I don't want to make it more complicated because we don't have so much time. Okay. Shastric faith. Okay. So, if the Shastric faith is affected by the mode of goodness, or it can be affected by the mode of passion, or it can be affected by mode of ignorance. Okay. If it is affected by mode of goodness, it leads to Sattvic Bhakti. Okay. So Sattvic Bhakti means what? If the Bhakti element is more, then it leads to Nishkama Karma Mishra Bhakti. Okay. If the Bhakti element is less, it leads to Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay. Inspiration to perform these. Okay. Or it can lead to either Jnana Mishra Bhakti or Jnana Yoga or Yoga Mishra Bhakti or Ashtanga Yoga. These are all Bhakti when the faith, when the Shastric faith is contaminated by mode of goodness, this leads to these kind of inspiration to perform these kind of sadhana. Okay. You may not know exactly what these practices are, but for now, all that you need to know is it is not pure bhakti. Okay. Similarly, if the Shastric faith is affected by mode of passion, then it leads to Rajasic bhakti. Okay. So Rajasic bhakti manifests in the form of Sakama Karma Yoga or Sakama Karma Mishra Bhakti. Okay. If bhakti element is more, it is Sakama Karma Mishra Bhakti. If bhakti element is less, then it is Sakama Karma Yoga. Okay. And mode of ignorance leads to Tamasic Bhakti. Okay. Where one may perform some kind of devotional activities, but at the same time with a desire to harm others and things like that. So in this way, if you see, the Shastric faith can be affected by three modes. Okay. Or the Shastric faith can be pure also. Now, independently, the three modes can affect one's conditioned nature also. Okay. Swabhava, conditioning, what we call as conditioning. Okay. So, mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Okay. So, depending on that, if it is mode of goodness, then you will be Sukha Sangena Badnati Jnana Sangena Chanaga. The person will be bound by knowledge and happiness. If he is affected by mode of passion, Rajo Ragatmikam Vitti, Trishna Sanga Sumut, there will be lot of thirst for material enjoyment. Okay. And if it is affected by mode of ignorance, Aprakasho, Apravrittischa, Pramado, Moha Evacha, there will be lethargy, there will be lack of clarity. Okay. So when the three modes affect the conditioned nature, it stimulates a particular type of stimulus response system. Lethargy, sleepiness, feeling drowsy. Okay. Or if it is Rajogun, your mind is constantly working. What should I do next? What should I do next? Okay. Like that. So now, who is a Vaiti Sadhaka? Okay. Rather, I will ask another question. If someone has pure faith, but a swabhava which is conditioned by the three modes, how will you define such a person? How will you define such a person? He has pure faith, but he has a swabhava which is conditioned by the three modes. How will you define such a person? Huh? Vaiti sadhaka, correct? If someone has pure faith and totally pure swabhava, how will you define such a person? Huh? Huh? Pure devotional service. So what is the Vaiti sadhaka practicing? What is the Vaiti sadhaka practicing? Pure devotional service. So if someone has, and what does pure Vaiti sadhaka have? Pure faith and impure swabhava. So if someone has pure shraddha and pure swabhava, who is he? Pure devotee means who? One who is practicing pure devotional service. What does Vaiti sadhaka practice? But Vaiti sadhaka has pure shraddha and impure swabhava. So if someone has pure shraddha and pure swabhava, who is he? He is a perfected devotee. Uttama bhakta. Correct? Uttama adhikari. One who is a Vaiti sadhaka is also a Uttama bhakta because he is practicing Uttama bhakti. But at the stage of sadhana. So, a perfected devotee, it's not that he does, everything is different between a perfected devotee and a sadhaka. Shraddha is pure for both of them. Shraddha is pure for both of them. It is the swabhava which is contaminated. And that purified Shraddha is not in a very blossomed state. Okay. Now, pure Shraddha can be in small quantity also. Okay. Like for example, you can have a 10 ml glass filled with water. You can have a 1 liter jug filled with water. Both are full of water, but one has only 10 ml, another has 1 liter. There is a difference. Okay. So, yes, there is a difference in continuity between a perfected devotee and a practicing sadhaka. What is common is the intention. There is continuous intention for both of them. But for the perfected devotee, there is continuity in not just intention but actions also. Whereas for a sadhaka, the continuity is there only in the intention but not in actions. And the lack of continuity in actions is not due to his unwillingness but due to his incapability. Why? Because he is transitioning from a material value system to a spiritual value system. So during the transition period, the inertia of the past conditioning will take some time to go away. Does it answer your question?
means what Krishna is saying, it's more of a promise for a conditioned food. So it is going to, like the green mango will become yellow mango over time.
Yeah.
So
So which means the continuity which is there in your intention will become continuity in your actions also. That is the promise. That is the promise. Yes.
So continuity in action, the beauty of action, it takes place when the swabhava, pure swabhava becomes pure swabhava. Is that means
No.
when one is called pure devotee?
Impure swabhava, yeah, becomes pure swabhava, because here this side it is faith.
Yeah, here inside.
This faith.
Yeah.
No. This is faith. This is swabhava. Right?
Yeah. So faith is always for both faith is other and later.
Perfected devotee.
Yeah. So here when impure swabhava becomes pure swabhava, then it becomes a pure devotee.
Then he becomes a perfected devotee.
So that means basically in order for us to become pure, our swabhava has to become pure.
For us to become perfected, our swabhava has to become pure. We are still pure in terms of our practice. Our faith is pure. So that is why I am using the terminology pure sadhaka, pure perfected devotee. So we are pure, we are sadhakas practicing pure devotional service. We are not perfect, we have not perfected our practice of pure devotional service. Right. Yeah. So does Swabhava always have to create obstacles? That is the question. Can't so? Yeah, no. Swabhava can be doubtable also. Generally, many of these Sattva-guni Swabhavas are doubtable Swabhavas. Not all, many. Okay. Like for example, how many of you prior to coming to Krishna consciousness also you had a habit of waking up early? Right. That's a favorable Swabhava. Right. How many of you were vegetarians even prior to coming to Krishna consciousness? That is favorable Swabhava. Right. So it's not necessary that Swabhava necessarily have to be obstacles. There can be doubtable favorable Swabhava also. Yes. Okay. Okay. You are not able to understand or you are not able to accept. Both. Okay. So now you tell me why you are not able to accept. Okay, correct. Good. Does your not having the intention continuously, does it make you feel bad or not? That's the proof that it is there continuously. You are not able to access it continuously, but it is there. So when it is not there, there is guilt. When it is there, there is joy. And when it is there and when you are able to execute it, there is even more joy. So there the presence of that intention should be seen in the form of guilt as soon as you identify that it is not actively manifest. Otherwise, someone for whom it is actually not continuous, the intention, you'll feel okay. What is wrong? If it is not there, it's not there. While it is there, I will engage. While it is not there, I will not engage. And there is no guilt. So in such cases, it is not anu. Yeah, it can take long time. It is continuous, that's why it is long. It will take long time. If it is not continuous, even after long time, it will not be there. See, actually, faith is always continuous. Faith does not change sporadically. Faith and goals They don't change sporadically. They are continuous. Even though what we identify as it is not there, it is not continuous, is you're getting distracted by your anarthas. When you're distracted by your anarthas, you think it is not there, but it is there. How do you know? As soon as the vega, vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, as soon as that vega goes down, immediately the guilt comes. That guilt is the proof that behind all that vega, in a very subdued state, that Shraddha was there. I am trying to convince you. I mean, if you are not convinced also, it's okay. As long as you are willing to engage in devotional service continuously, not a problem. What I am trying to say is, your practice is pure, and if you continue to practice this pure process, then you will become completely pure in terms of your conditioning also. That is what I am trying to communicate. What I am trying to say is, even though your active practice may be part-time, still you are full-time devotee, because what defines a full-time devotee is his faith in pure devotional service. That is the point. Anything else? Yes, bro.
How do I assess my faith?
Okay, let's do the exercise. Okay, I will ask you questions. You have the mic in your hand. Okay, you can answer. Have you awakened faith in the process of bhakti?
Yes.
Are you convinced that other than Shravanam, Kirtanam and the related practices, you don't have to practice any other limbs of karma or jnana or yoga to achieve perfection? Do you have that faith?
Faith I have, but
I am asking only faith. Please don't confuse willingness and capability. Okay. So just speak in terms of willingness. I'm not talking about capability.
yes.
Do you understand that sense gratification leads to misery?
Yes.
Is it that sometimes you are not able to say no to sense gratification?
Yes.
Whenever you slip, do you feel some regret?
Yes.
These are the symptoms Krishna has given. Anything else? There's one question there. Can someone pass the mic? Sporadically, yes.
Mentioned this, we are having this, that means we are having pure faith.
Yeah.
So if some incidences for few of us happens, we may always question Krishna why have to underscore their faith. How do we access
Faith, okay. Faith is disturbed. It's fluctuating. I will just add to this point. There is a difference between strength of faith and purity of faith. Okay. There is a difference between strength of faith and purity of faith. Pure faith can be weak. Mixed faith can be strong. Okay. And sometimes, if we are not very perceptive, we may misunderstand both. You can have very weak pure faith. So when the pure faith is very weak, it can fluctuate. Okay. That is called as Komala Shraddha. Yo bhavet Komala Shraddha sa kanishto nigadyate, Srila Rupa Goswami says. So yes, it may fluctuate, but it is not that when when we are in trouble, we say, Krishna, why are you doing this to me? At least you have faith that Krishna is under control. It's not like, Krishna, I don't think you are in control. I will go and worship the demigods. Like that, it does not happen, right? So if it happens like that, then your faith is probably mixed. But pure faith can be weak also. Sometimes that weak fluctuating faith may look like it is not consistently there, but it is there, but it is barely there. That's why sometimes it may feel like it is there and not there, there and not there. But it is not like that. It is there, but barely there. It is just trying to take root in our heart. Slowly it will grow. It will become stronger and stronger.
Krishna. That initiative groups also sometimes worship demigods. So whether their faith is weak or
I cannot immediately conclude that way. We will have to ask why they are doing what they are doing. Sometimes it may be because they had been traditionally in their family, they were worshipping demigods, and suddenly if you remove them off the altar, the family members may get disturbed. Sometimes to not unnecessarily invite trouble, they may keep them on the altar and worship them. If that is the way they are worshipping, then it's okay. But if they think, no, demigod should also be there on the altar and they should be worshipped, then we will have to maybe investigate a little more as to what else is, why they are feeling like that. Where is that thought process coming from? We have to understand all those things to come to a conclusion. We cannot immediately jump and say, no, they are mixed devotees like that. We cannot say like that. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, just in this context, this thought comes that in Nectar of the Ocean, Prabhu some say that Jyotinam Vihanti, that verse is there.
Yeah.
And then we all have that kind of thought we also can have, and calling it is the Arop Siddha Bhakti concept comes. Arop Siddha.
Yeah.
So how is it that related to our discussion in this faith?
That is just an example he is giving. He says that everyone has some memory of their conditioned state, that are at least observing conditioned people. How when there is attraction between a young man and a young woman, they uncontrollably think of each other like that. So the same way I want to uncontrollably think of you, O Krishna. That is the prayer. So that is just an example that is given.
Because I have heard this Arop Siddha that I don't have a bit of intention right now, but I am adding that position and Arop in the I'm not able to accept it all the concept that we have.
Okay. Yeah. Let us not introduce additional terminologies here, because that will make the whole discussion even more complex. Yeah, we can discuss. Yes.
Just one quick this thing. So should we concentrate on trade, or should we look at intention, or that is
Both are same only.
I'll just see because trade, then there are these so many things that we said there. Kind of when people hear that, yes, there is a trade that is already there, but then the intention also, like you said, like for example, now I know that I have to, my intention is be clear that I want to Bhakti or I want to peace. But will this process take me there? That takes the same. So in that case, then should I concentrate
What is the intention?
Used to do the
Yeah, but where is that intention coming from?
the intention that is coming. That's what I'm asking. That's
From faith.
See, the intention is coming from faith, but if faith is shaken, sometimes the intention
It's also shaken.
no, but you still want to do it because
Why?
you don't seem to have any other option.
Why? Why do you think there is no other option?
Because you see that material world, all of this went right. So that's not a very good solution.
Karma is a solution. Jnana is a solution. Ashtanga Yoga is a solution.
Correct, but they want to do bhakti because
Why?
Because that you've been influenced by people around you.
What has people have influenced your what?
Yeah. Okay. My faith is okay. It's been influenced to some extent, but then it can get shaken sometimes.
Yeah, that is weak faith.
Correct. So
that's why I'm telling there is a difference between purity of faith and strength of faith.
Okay, so then if faith is weak, then the intention should be kept back on the faith is weak.
Your intention is a byproduct of your faith only.
But somehow I'm seeing it as a little different. So we concentrate on that or this. For you, maybe it's the same because you think both months already. Maybe at this point, I'm thinking, I don't know. But if that is the case,
because you are not seeing the connection between faith and intention.
There is a connection, separate. But then you come to a point where then you're going to get around. It's a byproduct of that. Like father is, son is an after father is not right. Why also?
When I say intention, I am talking about intention which is born out of faith only.
So any other type of intention not good, even if it's goal.
Any other type of intention may be coming from a different type of faith.
So we'll go back to faith every time.
If there is a different intention, then probably the faith is mixed. If the intention is one, that is coming from faith.
In which case, then the intention is good. We should concentrate on intention.
Yeah. And you will be able to do it when your faith becomes stronger and stronger.
But if the intention is strong, the faith will get it. Is the converse possible?
I'm not able to get your point, but yes, you can say. I'm not able to understand. They are very closely intertwined. Yeah. I don't know how you will do it, but yes, if you can do it, good.
See, we were discussing intention and intention, like say, if you go back to our, there's one example that all of us can relate is when we were preparing that board exam year.
Correct.
All standard corporate.
Yeah.
At that point, we are in the midst of many things. There are many activities that we are doing, which is your unathletic college related. That's the analogy that you can take. But then you always have that oh, I have not done anything today. Or, oh my God, there is dread. There is fear.
Yeah.
There is anxiety. There are so many such emotions we went through in each of those days. So, because you know that you're nearing the end. So that way, the whole thing is to always ensure that my intention or my end goal is always protected and intact. Then that means I'm on safe ground.
Yeah, that end goal is your faith.
But then that intention should be strong. That's where I was fix it up a little bit. But and then because is that from that perspective that you're saying that if as long as our intention is good, then we are on safe ground.
Yeah. Yes.
And little bit in
Okay, one last question and then we'll end.
We see sometimes it's like the lady they come with a very good devotional faith. They speak very surely. But after some time, because of some circumstances which happen multiple times, the regret factor also. And there are sometimes because of balance when the value system itself changes. And we don't see their reminiscing their path, which was
they're fond of themselves. Sometimes they will go very wayward, and for a long time we won't see them. So their Shraddha is getting affected very much by their Swabhava. We are trying to understand here that if Shraddha is good, if it is always on that constant line.
Yeah.
That's how that definition here in this definition, the Shraddha is unflinching in concept. In this definition of our Krishna Sambhava.
Yeah.
It's not affected, but in the case of a practicing devotees. So how do we see the
if they engage in associating with those people who will weaken their faith, which means whose faith itself is different, so then our faith can also become weak or sometimes even contaminated. That is possible. So yeah, so in such cases it is possible that one can lose one's faith also. So sometimes when we are talking about strong drida, Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kohe Sudrida Nischay. So there it talks about actually purity of faith. Because that is not talking about strength of faith. But sometimes when we are associating with people who have a different faith, then our faith can get contaminated and our faith itself can become impure faith. Sometimes it may become weak, sometimes it can become impure also. Yeah, the threshold is in terms of purity, not strength.
At one point you may feel certain symptoms after a while.
Yeah, while it is Komala Shraddha, very weak faith, a weak faith is pure, but weak faith is very vulnerable to be poached upon by impure elements. So it is possible, it is very weak. When it is very weak, it can be contaminated. It can become contaminated. It is possible. Yes, if good association is not there, they can lose that faith also. Especially if that association is stimulating offensive mentality, then very quickly they may lose that faith.
We say that it's definition. If we are maintaining good association and keeping the faith pure, not the strong, then we can call practicing pure devotional service.
Then you can practice pure devotional service in a sustainable way.
Without conditions, practicing pure.
No. Then there is guarantee that in future also you will practice pure devotional service. Right now, strong association may not be there, but they may be practicing weak pure devotional service. But if they are not careful, very soon that weak pure devotional service may become either mixed devotional service or non-devotional service. So that is possible. So as long if we are weak, then we should take association more sincerely. If we are strong, we will automatically take association more sincerely. No. Chaitanya Prasad Prabhu can say. Is that time for one more question? There's a program in this hall. Okay, we will have. Yeah.
Just have important announcements to make. First of all, first session was with a lot of doubts, questions, and curiosity. Second, a lot of empowering understandings are given. Still, there are more things to be seeking, explored, and all. So we are very, very thankful to Prabhuji. Actually, had quite a tiring journey, practically past it, and because of some things we could not manage, and still he gave us time, expecting that. Because allowing that how much other time we have is that's we're very, very thankful. Giving us precious time and understanding based on our challenges. So let's express our gratitude by heartily chanting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, two announcements. Tomorrow